Feel free to please switch on your cameras. So it's much nicer. It feels like we're all sitting together and working on the project together. And when you're asking questions, I can see your face. Thanks, Gotham, being a leader. Oh,
okay, guys.
Someone is asking me for the link to the event.
DJ, Rakshit, do you want to turn on some sweet vibes?
I think Jeffrey's sharing, so I can't play music right now, unfortunately.
Oh, do you want me to play music?
That would be great. Yes, could you?
Do you have a playlist? Can you just send it to me?
Okay, yes, I do.
Let's fall in love for the night and forget in the morning. Play me a song that you like.
I guess we'll be starting in 5 minutes, guys, so stay tuned.
So thanks for coming on time, guys. Yeah, so we're gonna start really, really soon. But I guess before then, let's just warm up a bit. Yeah, so how is everyone doing during COVID? Because we got a lot of news today that's quite shocking for a lot of people. So yeah, how do you guys feel? Wholesome. Thanks. Relatable. Okay, quite good. All right, so let's see.
Okay, welcome guys to our, you guys may know we're gonna have our UI UX Creative Solution Workshop today. And before we actually start the workshop, we want to know a bit more about you guys. So we want to know about your major and whether you've ever done anything related to UI UX. So I dropped in the link for the poll that we created. So feel free to go on the link and tell us about what your major is and if you've ever done UI UX. So Scotty, do you have anything that you expect from this workshop today?
I guess for me, I have worked with UI UX before, but I'm not very creative and I want to expand that a little more. So yeah, I'm definitely expecting a lot today.
Okay, it's the same thing for me as well. I've actually haven't had a lot of experience with UI UX, so I'll know more about the artistic features.
Mhm. Oh, we're getting a lot of responses. So I guess, all right, so before we get into the workshop, shall we do like a quick round of introductions to those who've organized today's event?
Yeah, sure. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jeffrey. I'm the event manager for GDSC PoyU. My major is mechanical engineering. I'm a year 2 student and I'm happy to meet all of you guys. Thanks for joining. Scotty, do you want to go next?
All right, sure. Oh no, Maria, please go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Maria, and I'm a year 4 product design student. And I'll be heading this event tonight and teaching you guys a little bit about how to use Figma and some principles of UX UI design. I'm so happy to see so many people already here. So yeah, let's have a great time.
I guess my name is Akshay. I'm the vice president, and it's it's always a pleasure to be here. And today I'm providing a tech support.
Yes, our Google supercomputer. So, okay, hi everyone. My name is Scotty, and I'm the president of GDSC. I study computer science as well. I'm just pure computing. And let's see, I really am looking forward to the event because UI UX is something that is really intriguing for me because it's like a mix of tech and also a mix of art. So that's really, really interesting for me. Yeah, and I'm just overseeing what's happening here today. +1. Okay, so Jeffrey, take it away. Let's go with the polls. See what's happening.
Okay, let's see where everyone's from. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at everyone's major. Optometry, computing, okay, internet and multimedia technologies, computer science again, EE, that's probably electrical engineering, hotel management, bachelor in computer science, mechanical engineering, hotel management again, civil engineering, computer science, electronics, and EIE, AI fintech.
Nice. We have a huge pool today. All right, so yeah, what's next, guys? Come on, let's go.
Let's see. So let's take a look at. Okay, let's take a look if you guys ever done UI before. So 40% yes. Oh, so a lot more people haven't had any experience with UI UX, which is okay. It's going up. It's becoming equal. So I kind of expected more people to not be really familiar with UI UX.
Yeah, bring it down, bring it down. We can't have so many people knowing UI UX. But that's the point of the workshop.
Yeah. I hope you guys are excited to learn more.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually that 40% of people have done UX before, because this workshop is very much so for those who aren't familiar with UI UX. So it gives you a very bare bones, very like intro to UX UI basically, and the basics of Figma. So this is like a very entry level workshop for you to get your hands dirty and like really experience what UI UX design is like. So yeah, it's really interesting to me that 40% of people already know UI UX. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah, for our workshops going forward, they're mostly tailored for both audiences, right? So if you are experienced with it and you're actually in the career, I think you'll still take something away from today. So, all right, so Jeffrey, let's start with the workshop.
Okay, let's start with the workshop. Maria, can you take over the screen?
Yeah, I think I'll share my screen. Just give me a second.
Yeah, so guys, so for the flow of today is we're definitely going to go over the theories and all the really interesting principles of UI UX, and then we'll go into a hands-on thing. So you guys will all take away something physical of today. And let's see, so Maria is going to take lead today. So let's give her a huge round of applause. Good luck.
Yay, okay. So just quickly, can everybody hear me clearly? Can everybody see me clearly? Okay, I guess so. All right. So let's begin. So this is an overview of what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start off with an intro to UX UI. What does UX mean? What does UI mean? What is it really about? Then we're going to move on to some noteworthy basic principles and theories that we use in UI and UX design that will help you form the foundation or the basis for every design that you create. So these are basically some really good design practices that we keep in mind when we do UX and UI design. Following that, we'll be thinking a little bit about what the process of UX and UI design really looks like. Where do you start? How do you move from an idea or a problem to a full-fledged final solution? And then after that, we're going to jump right into doing our Figma tutorial and trying out some of the basics, so then you can get your hands dirty with the application and really have your, hopefully, I guess, for most of you, your first experience with UX UI design. And at the end, we will ask you to submit your Figma files to us, and you can earn a LinkedIn badge. So that's really cool and good for your CV. So let's dive right in. What is UX? So UX stands for user experience. This refers to the overall journey that your user will go through, right from clicking into your app, going into your website, all the way to the end of completing their goal or of you serving that service to the end user. So this complete experience from all the interactions and the brand management, that whole customer experience is what UX is about. So for example, these are some examples of what UX designers will think about. So storyline, if your brand has a certain story or narrative that you're trying to portray. Navigation from one screen to the next. How does a user get to their end goal from A to Z? Different processes. User interactions with different forms of media, with different buttons and the moving parts in all the apps. What do the user interactions look like? And also doing a lot of user research before we actually start building our app to make sure everything is streamlined, to make sure that it's all according to what our end user or our end client goals are. Because it's very important to make things client-centered or user-centered in any design situation. So let's move on to the other term that is often slapped into the back of UX, UI. So what is UI? It's user interface. And so this refers to the graphical elements or the things that you can see on the screen. So whether it be on your laptop or your phone, the actual elements that you are interacting with, so buttons, the screen, the colors, the branding, the text, the font, the images, this is all that comes under the user interface. It's probably what you're most familiar with and what you immediately think of when you think of UX and UI. So the way that I think of it is that UX is the more overarching concept, the umbrella term, and UI lives within the UX bubble, you can say. So you can say that UI is the subset of UX. So these are some examples of UI. So again, as I said, text, images, buttons, text input fields, like you're putting your username, password, your scrolling effects, your animations, your colors. So for example, if you look at the images over here, what kind of feeling does this first top image give you? Like, what kind of brand is this? What would you say, guys? Can I see some answers in the chat? What kind of feel does this branding give you? The colors, the text, can you guys give me some descriptive words? Youthful, clean, yeah. Any more? Bouncy, good one, Scotty. Very interesting, yeah. Okay, structured, okay, that too. Versus like if you look at the other ones here, I think for example, for the bottom one, it's a lot more dark, it's a lot more sleek, it's a lot more professional. It's giving me nighttime, you know? These are some like, so based on the colors and the fonts and the effects that you give to the overall UI, that really changes the tone and the feel of your entire app and your brand. So the one on the top, or the picture on the top is quite different to the ones on the bottom. And the third one, the one that says Redeem Awards, looks very natural, looks very like boho, very clean and minimal, as opposed to the one that's to the left of it, right? So that's the idea with UI. So let's just go and recap the two concepts. So UX includes all of these: user research, stories, processes, data flow, start to end experience. And UI includes the things that you can see and the things that you interact with. So the branding, the colors, the text, the style, and the layout. But the one thing that they have in common are the very special keywords that designers have to keep in mind when they are designing both UX and UI platforms. So usability and accessibility, making sure that the entire app or the entire interface is easily usable. You can jump from one screen to the next. You can go back if you made a mistake. The text and the colors, for example, are very easily visible. The colors have high contrast. The text is easy to read. It's a good font size and a clear font. And then in order to create, like the planning processes are also very similar between UX and UI. So we prototype and we create wireframes in order to understand UX and UI, which we will explore a little bit further in the presentation. And a very big part of any kind of design process is user testing, where we make sure that we pound out all those bugs and all those problems by putting our products through several rounds of user testing. Okay, so we're gonna start with noteworthy principles and theories, but I'd like someone to very quickly recap their understanding of UX and UI in the chat. Or you can even unmute yourself and talk. Very quick definitions of UX and UI. What did you learn? And what's the difference? Yes, unmute, feel free to share. No one? Looks like I did a pretty bad job if no one understands what UX and UI is. Come on, guys.
Do we have to say with our mics on?
Yeah, you can say it. Sure, go ahead, Russell.
Oh yeah, UI is basically design. UX is more like data, I guess. Yeah. In
a way, I guess, UX is more of the overall journey, or as the word says, the overall experience that you're trying to create for the client or the consumer, right? While UI is the interface, or the things that you're actually interacting with, or as Russell put it, the design of it, the physical graphic design of it, I guess. All right, so now let's jump into the next portion of the presentation, which is noteworthy principles and theories for UX and UI design. One very, very important principle is visual hierarchy. What does this mean? So if you guys know what hierarchy means, it means a certain levels, basically. There's levels to it, right? There's someone at the top, for example, in a company, there's a boss, then you have like the managers, then you have the workers, right? So there's a hierarchy for any system. So just like in design, we also have hierarchy. There's a visual hierarchy. So if you look at this picture here, this website and this skateboard, there's a certain visual hierarchy here. Your eye is immediately drawn to firstly the picture, and then 2 pieces of information: the name, Boosted Mini S, and the price, $825. So that's done very much purposefully, because your eyes also move from left to right, because that's how we read text, at least for English speakers and readers and writers. So we look at the image, and then the 2 bold pieces of information, you can see the size of the text is also much bigger: Boosted Mini S and $825. And then your eye goes to more of the smaller details and other information, and then the call to action at the bottom: buy now or learn more. So that's a very, very important piece of information that we always keep in mind when we're designing any kind of interface. So another way that visual hierarchy is done is, as I mentioned earlier, left to right and then top to bottom. So that's how it's being done here too on Amazon. So in the ad, your eye is first drawn to the image, then moves from left to right to the information, and then from top to bottom, then you start looking at the different items that are on the bottom, like the camera, etc. So that is one thing that you might want to keep in mind when designing, is how the eye naturally tracks any website or app interface. The second principle that I want to cover is consistency. And this one is a little bit of an obvious one, but I think it's very much like important to actually put this in, because a consistent design makes for a fuss-free design, and also makes for a very like a less steep learning curve, because a consistent design is reliable and the user spends less time trying to learn how to navigate your app and use all the different functions, because all the functions are consistent. And if a button, and if all the buttons look like a similar color and shape, you know it's a button, right? So these things may seem really obvious at first, but actually when you're designing, it's important to use consistency to make things a lot more intuitive and smooth for the entire user experience. So for example, if your search bar is at the top in the beginning of the page, then on a different page, you don't put the search bar at the bottom, right? Because then you have people searching for the search bar. So basically make sure that all the components are very much consistent in their placement and their appearance. So buttons should all look similar. Your search bar should be in the same place. If you have a back button on the top left corner, then keep it there throughout the app, no matter what the screen is, so that the user is not lost and confused. This one is a very, very important one, and I think will help battle a lot of frustration that often users get. Like for example, like when you press a button and then you feel like it hasn't worked, so you keep pressing it again and again. That's because they haven't provided enough feedback to your user actions. So this is my next tip, is make sure that there's visual feedback or any kind of feedback. So I've given some examples here, animations, vibrations, or visual cues, to make sure that when the user hovers over something or clicks a button or completes any kind of interaction, important interaction, they know that there's something happening. Like for example, I click, then oh, I know, I can see the 3 dots, so I know that the message is sending. Otherwise I'm confused, I don't know whether it's sending or not, right? And especially, this is especially, I think, important for a time like now, where we are always so like fast-paced and wanting to do everything really quickly. I think it's important that we have immediate user feedback to our actions. So we have covered the principles, we have covered what is UX and UI design. So where do you really start with UX UI? What does the process look like? Where do you even begin with this? So let's go through a little bit about design thinking and the process of UX UI design. So this is what we call the double diamond model, and is used for a lot of different design thinking processes. So even if you're designing something like a card holder or you're designing an application, you still should go through something like this. So you start with a problem. Whenever anyone creates an app or a web thing or whatever it is, you're creating an application, you're creating a website, you're creating a product, you're trying to fill a need, you're trying to solve a problem. So the first step is knowing what problem to solve. So I gave an example here. our problem for this case study are many students are depressed, they're sad, especially in first year. Freshmen are finding it hard to make friends, finding it hard to find people to have food with, to hang out with. So that's a big problem, right? So then in the discovery and research part, you're gonna do some user research. You're gonna ask people, what are the problems that you face, you know, in university, or like, why is it that you're depressed? And then you kind of build up this idea of like, what are the common problems that users are facing? And then you also do research into, okay, what apps, what things are out there that can help for this kind of problem? And you find the gap in the market, right? And then you define your problem. So, okay, so this is my problem. So it's very generic at the moment that students are depressed. Okay, students are depressed, but what exactly is it? So I then narrowed it down to help students connect with peers. So I created what we call a design brief, or like a goal statement. So help students connect with peers during their free time. So we've defined exactly what we want to do. And then when you start to develop, test, and actually design, you'll come up with a solution. So for the purposes of this workshop, the solution that we thought of was, okay, this app is called Lunchtime, and it's an app that uses, for example, it's an app that uses an algorithm to match you with a lunch buddy to make new friends, right? So all students are on campus and have free time during that 12:30 to 1:30, like that hour of lunch break. So why not use that to our advantage and create an app where you can have lunch and make friends with new people? And this way, students get to make new friends and meet new people and just, you know, be less depressed, hopefully. So once we have our like issue at hand, our problem at hand, we create a problem brief. We want to answer the main questions, the who, what, when, where, why, and understand the problems and needs of the user. So what is it? What is the main problem that we're trying to solve? Students need to be able to get connected to other students easily and make friends easily. Who are we solving this problem for? Students, maybe college students aged 18 to 23, something like that. And how can we best serve the target audience? Well, students are always on their phone. Best way to do this is through an app. And what we also do is create something called a user persona. This is a very generic example, but for our example, we would have something like, okay, Maria, she's 21, she's from Hong Kong, PoyU. She's a product designer, and you know, the bio is like studying, spends most of the time on campus, that kind of thing. Wants and needs would be, feels like she wants to make more friends, feels sad, something like that. So we want to basically create a persona or an idea, a defined idea of who it is, who is the target market. If you could specifically design for one person, what would that ideal person look like, right? Who has these problems and who is within the constraints of the app or the interface that you're creating for. The next step is then to look at the, if I wanted to meet up with someone, what apps are already out there? What do they look like? So there's one called Nextdoor, in which you can find someone. It's basically like making friends as neighbors app. And then there's like really interesting, there's groups that you can join. For example, it says coronavirus help for neighbors, for example. Then there's Bumble BFF, which is also cool. You both have to swipe right on each other and then you match and then you can start talking. And then there's Meetup, which is also similar. You guys can meet up and do events together. So this is very event-based. And then there's something called, I think this one is Yubo, where you can live stream together. So it's a more social kind of app and discover new friends. So I feel like each of these apps that's already on the market has its own niche. So one's more for neighbors, one's more for live streaming, one's more for going to events together. But I think ours fills a gap where it's specifically for students and specifically for sharing a meal during lunch. So it's quite specific, and I think it fills a gap in the market. So the first step you do now for our app would be to wireframe. Personally, I like to start out with doing some hand sketches, or if you have an iPad or a tablet, you can start there. And the idea is you want to start from the very first screen, like the login, to the very last screen, like your chat or your, maybe there's a screen for selecting date, time, for meetup, that kind of thing. Each screen from A to Z, basically, you wireframe it out and you make a very, what we call lo-fi sketch, very simple sketches of the very bare bones, minimal action items that you need. So you need an image, you need a text box, you need a text over here. So basically you want to just, as you can see in the image, you just want to lay out the structure of how it's going to look like. Okay, in the bottom, there's some navigation, there's 4 icons. You kind of just, it helps you think in a very cost-effective and quick way. You can easily make changes when it's a lo-fi kind of sketch, as opposed to if you're using a really like complicated software and you're like trying to do it each screen in a lot of detail. That takes a lot of time and effort. So it's important to start off with something that is very minimal, easy to make changes with. So, and I looked at like wireframes for dating or making friends type of app. And these are what the main frames look like. Don't worry, we're not gonna do so many today. So I was just having a look at what's out there. So like sign-in screen, then you upload your photo, you make your profile, you set your preferences, you can see people nearby, your card swiping, your inbox, people who have liked you. So these are like the different screens that are part of a complete wireframe for a dating type app. So this is what a UX UI designer would initially start with. And then, of course, the next step is to get creating the actual prototypes. So you can use a bunch of different softwares. My top 5 picks are here. So that's Adobe Experience Design, Sketch, Figma, Balsamic, and InVision Studio. InVision Studio is very much a industry like standard, like it's one of the most widely used ones. Sketch is also pretty intuitive. But today, as you guys know, we're going to be using Figma, as it's free to use a lot of the features, and it's also very democratic, I think, because it's a web-based application and anyone can get started right away without having to download anything or spend any money or too much time. So yeah, basically that's that step. And then the final step would be user testing, as I said before. User testing, oh my God, we have to do it twice, thrice, 1,000 times. But usually just to get the big bugs and big problems out of the way. So once you've prototyped, you think, oh my God, it's done, it's finished. But usually there's lots of sneaky problems in there that you don't really know of, and because you've been working on it for so long, you need a fresh set of eyes to kind of look at it and tell you, and to go through it and be like, oh, this kind of seems weird, or I wish I was able to go back from the screen, and you're like, oh, I forgot to put a back button there, or something like that. You know, that's just an example. But you need to be able to test a couple of times and make like small changes, and each small change is called an iteration. So this is what we call iterative design, which means that you make small changes every time and then you make a new version or a new iteration. So that's basically what iterative design is about. So if you didn't know, now you do. And then once you're happy with it and you've gone through a couple rounds of testing, and the next time your testers say, hey, yeah, it seems cool, seems like there's no obvious bugs that we can see, then you move to launch. Yeah, so a term that I used was lo-fi in the beginning. So the fi and lo-fi and hi-fi actually just stands for fidelity. So a lo-fi scheme, as you can see on the left side of the screen, is something that is very bare bones, as we saw earlier, versus a hi-fi scheme, which is very detailed. It gives you the full look and feel of the app, but this one takes a lot of time. So I wouldn't suggest going into any hi-fi designs before you have thoroughly thought about your designs in lo-fi. sketched it out either using an application or by hand. So you know exactly what you're getting into, and you're not lost when you start your journey into an app like Figma, for example. You know, okay, now I gotta create these fields, I gotta create the logo, you know exactly where goes what, because you already have everything framed out. So that's the whole idea of it. At this point, does anyone have any questions at all for me? I haven't been looking at the chat. Yeah, feel free to raise your hand or just like unmute your mic now and talk and ask me anything. If there's anything you guys would like to clarify or even just comment on, you can comment on the chat. Yes, Wireframe is having an idea about the flow of the app. Yes, so each frame is very bare bones, and it's very like, so for example, if you see here on the left, you have a login screen. So I need to put in all the functionality of that screen. I need to make sure that everything that a user is gonna fill or touch or click, all of those things are there, but you don't need to make it fancy. It's just, you can think of it as a functions only map of your app. So so I hope that answers your question. It's just like an idea of the flow of the app. So if you click this button, it's going to go into this frame. If you click this, it's going to go into this. Yeah. Second question from Matthew is, when you deploy, do you mean porting the prototype into a real Android Studio interface? You know, because Figma is a prototyping software and doesn't have any backend code, nor is related to actual project. Yes, that's what I mean. When I said, I guess when I say launch, I mean like actually deploy the app, put it out into the market, complete with backend and everything. Yeah, because on Figma you can do like very low level prototyping, like click a button and then move to the screen, that kind of thing. But after that, you know, obviously, as you said, you need your backend code, you need the whole like where will that data go, right? Once somebody enters username, password, it has to be stored somewhere. Yeah, any other questions? All right, I think we're good then. So it's now time to hop into Figma. Let's see how we're doing on time. Okay, it's 8:04, not too bad. Let's hop into Figma. The overview is we're gonna go through our setup. We're gonna go through the basics of the Figma interface, and then we're gonna build some lo-fi screens, and then also turn those lo-fi screens into hi-fi screens and frames. So let's get right into it. Time to build. You can see my screen, right? Okay, great. Okay, actually I had another frame left. So for this app, I've come up with like a really quick branding of the app, I guess. Basically, to make sure that we're all on the same page about these are the fonts that we're going to use, I've created a really simple logo for the lunchtime app. I'm not a big into logo design, so don't look at me for that one. And then the colors at the bottom that were the main colors we're going to use for the app, I chose like a light green because it's very like fresh. I feel like it also reminds me of like healthy food and like lunch, and it's also very like light and a friendly color, like a brighter color. So these are the colors that I've kind of chosen, and then I've done more like neutral colors to go along with it. So that's what we're gonna follow. You guys should have an instruction sheet. So before we begin and to set up, if you do have a secondary screen, if you do have another screen on you, like an iPad, an extra laptop, even if your phone is big enough and you think you can like look at the video through the phone, I think it's important that you have a secondary screen. Like it'll make it easier for you instead of having to switch back and forth, so that you will not miss out on anything. Okay, secondly, please guys, sign into figma.com and create a free account. If you haven't done it already, please do it now so that once we get started, you are not lost and you're not still trying to sign in. If you have a mouse, please prepare one. Even if it's like just like a regular mouse, anything is better than a trackpad, to be honest. I think it's much easier to navigate Figma and use it if you have a mouse on you. And an optional requirement, although I highly suggest it, is have a portrait picture of yourself. It could be anything, just like a selfie or whatever. Basically, it's gonna be your picture on the friend making profile, like your profile on the thing. So whatever you want as your profile picture, please have that saved onto your laptop. And also some pictures of your friends that are chatting with you on the app. You can also save those. If not, at least your own picture. And then you can take the rest of the pictures of people just from online, just like some stock photos. So that's also fine. So these are just 4 things to keep in mind before we start the workshop. And then we can get started in, I think, 5 minutes. What do you say, Scotty?
Also, if you guys have any setup problems, please let us know in the chat, because that's really important for you to take anything away from today. So Maria, maybe can you go on incognito mode and maybe like go through the setup as well, if that would, if that's okay. It's
really simple, guys. You just need to go to figma.com, use the link on the document, and then you can use your Google account or anything, or your whatever email to just sign in and create an account. I think that's like the easiest part of the whole workshop, to be honest. Logging in. Should be fine.
That is true. That is true. So yeah, guys, just very, very simple. So yeah, let's just give 5 minutes, and
I can have these instructions here so everyone can take a look at it.
Yeah, so while we're waiting, do you guys have any questions, comments, memes?
I've been using this like janky wired mouse for like forever. I think it's time I get as a designer, that I get a, wireless mouse. I've been using this one like for years.
Do you want to see my brick mouse? Everyone keeps making fun of me for this one.
That's like ergonomic.
Let me turn off my...
I can't see it. I can't really see it. Yeah.
You see this? It's RGB, guys.
Wow.
Increases FPS. Yeah, very, very heavy. Gamer mouse.
So you have to, it's a vertical mouse then, right? You have to use it like this.
Mm-hmm. It helps with the wrist and the, what's it called? Carpal tunnel syndrome.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So do you have a mouse as well? Do you guys share your mouse? Turn on your camera and then show us your mouse, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's flex. Let's flex our mouse.
This is my mouse. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Ooh, we got the Logitech.
Yeah, it's Logitech MX Master 3.
Hold on,
it also helps with the wrist. That's why I got it.
Wait, guys. Bring up your mouse and then let me take a picture. Mouse gang, let's go. Okay, hold on.
Me too.
Oh, wait. I don't have everyone in. Let me get everyone in. Okay. Hold on. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, we good.
Okay. Joel's like, damn, you guys are rich. Not me, Joel. You can see clearly. So I could need to erase that. Okay, cool. Once you guys are fully prepared. You've got your picture, you've got your mouse ready, and if you have access to a second screen, you have your screen ready. If your 4 points are done, please put it down on the chat saying ready, so we know how many people are prepared to start the workshop. I don't want to start off and like people are still scrambling to log in or something like that. Okay, nice. Shall we begin? Shall we wait a couple minutes, 8:15, and then start? Okay, once like the I'm ready stop rolling in, I'm gonna like start. Yeah, so once again, secondary screen, sign in and create a free account, prepare your mouse. And please, I would really like if you guys make sure you have a picture of yourself, a portrait style picture, and optional 3 to 5 pictures of your friends, or we can just get like stock images off the internet. What's this picture?
Do we have any Figma first timers here today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I hope so.
Yay, first timers. Woohoo. Noise. First time. Okay. Maria, what do you think? How do you think they'll follow today?
I think it's really easy, and I'm gonna start off very slow and steady, especially when we're doing the lo-fi frames. And then I'll speed up a little bit, because once you get used to it and understand how it works, which shouldn't take too long, we'll get a bit faster, but I think it shouldn't be too taxing at all. And at the most, I think it should take no more than an hour tops for you to finish the whole thing.
Right, and also if you have a mouse, right, a fancy mouse, Figma's really good with the shortcuts. So yeah, definitely, even if you're really experienced, you can take so much away from today. So really excited. I disagree with Solal's UI capacity. Mm-hmm. Matthew's feeling spicy today.
Okay, it's 8:15. I'm gonna start. Okay, let's not waste any more time.
Yes, let's go.
So, when you guys log in, you should see something like this. And if you have projects, they'll be down here, but you wanna click here and create and go for new file design. And that should land you somewhere here in this very blank looking space. I think, let me just set up the chat so I can see, just in case I have some chats going in. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, that's great. I can have it on the big screen, that's a lot better. Yeah. Okay, let me know if there's anything. Okay, so let's dive into the user interface. When I first started, it was a little bit daunting to me because everything looked kind of like, what's going on here? But all right, let's start here from the toolbar. So here we have the main menu. You can go back to your files from here, from where you started. Here you have some actions with the file. So you can save, you can create a new design file, a FigJam file, which is something like for brainstorming with your friends. You can actually start from a sketch file, like import from a sketch file, and place image. This one we're gonna do very shortly. And then you can do some edits, you can view, just like your very standard stuff. If you want to put ruler in, you can start with rulers and grids. I'm not gonna go too much into all of that right now. We're just gonna like do the very basics that you will need to start off, and then object, vector, text, and then arrange, and then other things that you will probably need as you're going through your journey with Figma, like plugins and integrations. So that's the very basic home, your main menu. Then you have your move and scale tool over here. This one's very important. When you're doing any other tasks, like you're creating shapes or doing other things, you can always press the escape key to go back to your move and scale option. Then you have your frames. The frame is basically the very base of any design that you create. And once you press frame here, the shortcut for which you can see here. So if you want to do frame F, if you want to do slice S, you can see all the shortcuts here. You will see here on the right-hand side that you have already, Figma has given us some templates for different phone sizes, Android, and all these like iPhone sizes, and also other things like for tablet, for desktop, for even Apple Watches. So that's pretty cool. You have the sizes here already for your frames. You've got the shape building tool where you can make shapes, you can do arrows, lines, and different kind of shapes. But the one we're mostly gonna use and you mostly end up using are rectangles and ellipses. This one, if you want to make any lines, pen and pencil, this one is very simple, just add your text. And this one is the hand tool, so you can pan around your work with the hand tool, and this is to add comments. All the basic information about the tools will be in the instruction guide. A lot of the basic things that we're going to be covering and some of the like keyboard shortcuts are all in the instruction manual, but there are a couple more things that I will build upon in the workshop. So you need to be present here and not just look through the file, right? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is something like this. We're going to be creating like a dating style app, but it's like for meeting new friends, right? We're creating our lunchtime app. These are the lo-fi frames. So we're going to create 3 lo-fi frames that you can see here. So that's a login page, a kind of like your profile display page, and then a chats page. And then we're going to upgrade these lo-fi frames into something that looks a bit better, which I will show you later. So now let's look at some of the elements here. We need to start with a frame, add like a logo, and then add our username, password, and a login button. So let's get into doing that. So the first thing you want to do is press F to create a frame. And what I'm going to start with is the iPhone 13 Pro, because that's the phone I have. So let's go do that. So immediately gives you your iPhone 13 Pro frame, the correct sizes that you would need to design for this phone. And then the next thing, let's go back and have a look. You want logo and these fields, right? So let's add a fill color first to this. So my fill color is going to be the one from our branding thing. So it's going to be F7, F5, F2. That's the hex code for this number, F7, F5, F2. So let's put it in. F7, F5, F2. And that's my fill color. So it gives you this cream color that I'm working with. And the next thing we want to do is add a shape, so an ellipse. So go to the shape, go to ellipse. And now if you can see, once you drag, it gives you this wonky circle. So to make sure it's a perfect circle, you want to hit and hold down Shift, and then that gives you your perfect circle. And Figma does a great thing where it really helps you align however you want it. So you can just go ahead and align in the center. It doesn't matter how tall at the moment. We're just creating a lo-fi wireframe. So this is where I want my logo to go. Basically, this is my placeholder for my logo. And then we're going to go forward and put that username and password field. So Thus, again, just more rectangles. So easy. Just gonna create one more rectangle down here in the center. And the cool thing you can do with Figma are constraints. So if you look here on the right hand side, we have the design panel. So any element that you click in here, you're gonna get the design elements for it here. You're gonna get a placement, the XY coordinates. You're also gonna get the width and the height of this object. So here you can see it's a perfect circle, 183 width, 183 height. And if you want to rotate it, you can also have the rotation angle. So the constraint thing here means it's constraining to one area. So for example, if I were to put this box up here, don't do this, I'm just showing it to you. And I constrained it to just the top, or the top and center. Then the top would stay where it is right now. It's gonna stick to the top like that. And if I constrain it to the top and side, it's gonna stick to the sides. So that's how you use the constraints. And that's nice for when you're doing like multiple things and multiple like items or like shapes, and you want them to stick or align to a certain area. So that's good for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit shift and I'm gonna kind of make this shape here. At the moment, don't worry too much about sizes and that kind of thing. I just wanna make sure relative to the screen that it looks okay. And we're gonna change the fill here. Let's make this completely white. So it's gonna be 6Fs here under the fill column. And then here we have stroke. So when you click here, you can add a stroke. This is a fun thing you can do. When you hover over it, you can see like a two-headed arrow. So you hold and you move left and right to change the stroke width. So I'm gonna leave the width here at 2 and leave it like that and have it, maybe let's make it this dark gray. All right, so I'm gonna leave it this way. And now I'm just gonna make some text. So I'm gonna click the text box here, create a box, and I'm gonna write username ... And let's make this bigger. So now that you have all the text options here. So for whatever you're wanting to edit, all the edit options will be here on the right side. So here you go, I'll make it maybe, let's say 18. Yeah, 18 looks good. And then I can also make the text maybe a different color, like gray. Oh, okay, the guy's asking me to put my mask on. All right. Mask break. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is we're going to copy these two items. So just press shift and click on both the username and the box. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold down the Option key or the Alt key if you're working on a Windows. And you can see here, it should give you these two cursors. And then that means it's copying. And then I just pull it down and there, I've got two boxes. This one, I'm gonna edit to say password. Okay, so that's what that looks like. It's a little bit light, I think. Maybe it should be a bit darker. So let's go with the darker gray, same as the outline. Darker gray, yeah, there we go. So now we've got this and we want to make a button. So one more rectangle. Is everyone able to follow? Okay, let me know. Okay, cool. And then now I want to make a button. So another rectangle. Make sure everything is center aligned. And this is going to be my login button. So once again, made the button, added the text. And I'm gonna do all caps, login. And you can select this. So another trick for, you can just like do your Command A to select all the text and then center align here. So it should center align the text. Or what we can do is we can, oh, I think it's because the text is not big enough. Let's increase the size 24, center align. All right. Let me try this. Okay, let's just move it, make the text box smaller and move it to the center. The guides will snap in place and you can see the center of the button. And there you go. Log in. Yeah. There we go. I'm gonna add my login. So that's a very bare bones kind of thing. And what if they forgot their password? So let's put in a little forgot password thing. And I'm gonna underline this and hold on. Where's this? Okay, yeah. Here we go. And I'm also gonna make this a gray. So fill and gray. So this is our very bare bones first screen. I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds how to make the frame darker. So if you click here, you can go and make the stroke whatever color you want here. Change the color of the stroke. Or if you talk about the actual frame, then you can click on your actual frame, which is this little frame logo, and then you can change the colors here in the fill. So now that we have made a bunch of these items, you can see how they're stacked like this under the frame. So you can use this triangle right here to collapse all the information. And so when we make another frame, then that's going to come in handy. Because then when you have lots of frames, you want to make sure that you can organize all the information. So let's do something. Let's start grouping. Let's group username and the username box as one group, okay? So let's go to username and let's make sure it's the right rectangle. So rectangle 1, and then hold down Command or Control and hold down username. So these two are selected, and then right click and then go to group selection. So turn it into a group, and that's your group 1. You can double click to rename it, and I'm just going to write the username. And let's do the same for password. So password, hold down Command or Control, rectangle 2, and then right click group selection, and let's turn that into password. Okay. And this is our, I like to name everything so it's less confusing. This is a login button. That also we can group here. So this becomes our login button. So I've made all of these, and it's nicely organized and grouped together. So what that means is now if I want to move this, it moves along with the text, like it acts as one object, right? That's what grouping does. So now we've kind of got like this down. So let's go and do the next wireframe, which is our like, what do you call it? Your profile screen. So we're gonna have the same background, but we now wanna have a place to put a picture. So a placeholder for a picture, a little banner, and some buttons. So like something like or not like, and then like a super chat or something like that. And then a little menu down here for navigation. So let's get into that. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select everything. I'm gonna select the frame and I'm gonna hit Option or Alt, and I'm gonna copy this entire frame. And then I can just delete what I don't want, which is everything in here. Select, this is, you can also do multiple selects like this and just hit delete. So that's another way of doing it. So now it's much quicker for me to do it this way rather than open another frame and then fill color. I just find this much easier. Anyway, so now I've got the second frame and we're gonna put a picture placeholder. So let's make a rectangle here. So I'm gonna have a nice big rectangle. for my picture holder. And then I'm gonna add in my little buttons. So I'm gonna go to ellipse. Once again, you wanna hold down the shift key, create an ellipse, create a circle as big as the button that you want. I'm gonna go with, I actually want it to be 75 by 75. So I can't get it done right there. So I'm gonna change this here, 75 by 75. And so that's my button. And then I'm going to hold down Option or Alt, and then copy a button to go on the other side, just like this. And then I'm gonna make a smaller button. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold down Option again, copy a button here. But this one I wanna make smaller, but I wanna remain in the center. So for this, what you wanna do is you hold down Shift so that it stays a circle, and you hold down Option. So this way it'll stay in the center. And you can notice it's giving you the measurements as well if you hold down Option, which we'll get into when we go through the high-five frames. So these are my 3 buttons, and I want to change all the fills to white. So you can do that by just going to the fill of each button, changing it to white, just like so. Okay, we've got white buttons, and I also want a nice little banner. So that's another just rectangle. And I'm gonna create a banner here. Let's say I want it to be 294 by 112. I think that looks good. I'm gonna have it this way. And let's add some text. So what will this banner say? Firstly, I think it should say the user's name, comma, age. So I'm gonna make this Roboto bold. Let's make it bold, Roboto bold. And so here you can see you have the text, like the font option, and then you have the a second level of options for what kind of bold you want to condense. There's all these options for Roboto font, which is the default font. And then you can, I think I'm gonna increase the size here. Oh, maybe not 36. Maybe, I wonder if I can do the same thing here with the arrow. Yeah, I can. So I can hold it down and I can change the sizing by doing that. And so here I have name, age, and then maybe like there should be some kind of witty bio. So let's say there's some text here. Let's make it Roboto extra light. And let's write witty bio one-liner, something like that. And I'm gonna, you can do Control A or Command A, or you just select all of it. And once again, I'm gonna try and hover and change the font size. So there we go. So here you have your name, and you have the little one-liner going on. So we've got that. And then in the bottom, we want a navigation menu. So let's go ahead and add that as a simple rectangle here for now. Navigation menu. Okay, so we have the semblance of like what this is going to look like. That's basically what a wireframe is about. Yeah, maybe let's add some sectioning on the bottom here. So what we're going to do is let's use the line tool, and let's create a line and hold down Shift so that it's straight. So we'll do something like this. And to zoom in, you can press Command or Control and then use your scroll button. So if I wanna, and then I use the middle, like my scroll button, I hold down my scroll button to move around the thing, or you can even use the hand tool here to go around if that doesn't work for you. So I'm gonna go over to this line, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Option key, and that shows me how far everything is from here. So I'm holding down the Option key, and I'm seeing that it's farther away from the top than it is from the bottom. So I'm going to use the up and down keys to kind of move this and make it 17, 17, something like this. And I want it to be about 75 away from, I think 97 away from the side. So I'm gonna move it like this. Yeah. And that's gonna be my line. And then I'm gonna hold on Option again, and I'm gonna duplicate this line, put one in the center at 98, and another one here. And we're gonna kind of do the same thing. We're gonna click on this, hold down Option, and you're gonna hover over this square, and you're gonna see all the measurements. And I want this to be about 97. So there we go. So you should have from here to here 97, from here to the next line 98, from here, and then from this line to the next line 98. All I'm doing is holding down the Option button again and hovering. So I click on the item, hold down the Option button, and hover over the items that I want to see its relation to. So if I want to see how far it is from this or from this, I can do that by holding down the Option key, and even from other items here. So that's a really useful thing for measurements if you need everything to be precise. So, okay, I've made some semblances of some sections, and I know there's going to be like 4 icons here. So again, I'm pressing Command and I'm Control or Command, and I'm zooming out. So this is what our profile looks like. Now, what's the next one? The next one is the chat boxes. So on the top, it says your chats. And then it has a bunch of chat boxes, and then we have our navigation menu at the bottom again. So this, again, pretty simple. I think you guys can maybe start off doing it yourself too, because we've learned all the skills needed to do that. So once again, I like to just press Option, make my frame, or you can create a new frame, however you feel like it. And I just like to delete stuff in here, select, delete. And I'm gonna keep the bottom menu bar. And we're gonna go with your chat. So again, I like to keep reusing the things in here. So like I press Option, and then I'll just like quickly copy down stuff, and I'll change this to your chats. And I'm going to increase the size. So, this is a little bit tricky. Yeah, your chats. And then I'm going to create some more rectangles down here. So make sure it's touching each side. And I'm going to fill this in white. Okay, and I'm going to complete one of the instances of the chat, because I know all of the chats are going to look the same. So I might as well complete one instance with the photo and everything, and then copy it down, right? So here we go, and then ellipse. Once again, holding down the Shift key, making sure it's a perfect circle. Let's make this one, let's see how it fits. I'm gonna zoom in a little here so you guys can get a better view. Each chat bar, I think I want to make it a bit wider. So I'm gonna keep it to 97. And then this circle is gonna come in between, and the circle is 82 by 82. That's what I have at the moment. So I have, if you want to get the same width and height, just have a look here. 390 by 97 pixels is my chat box. And my circle is 82 by 82. Is everyone following? Okay, cool. Okay, and then you want to have your text. So let's put the name of the person here. So name chart or something like that. Okay, and again, I can Command or Control A, and then I can reduce this font size here. Name of the chat. Oh, maybe that sounds kind of funny. Maybe like name friend. And then open this up, and then let's write obviously you see a little bit of a preview of their message. So let's add message preview here, dot, dot, dot. But this one, I want to change the font. I want it to make Roboto. Let's say, let's make it Roboto extra light. And let's fill it in a gray. And let's make the size. Let's make the size 19. Okay. So size 19, Roboto extra light and dark gray. And so that's what our the preview thing looks like. You can feel free to adjust it however you want. I'm not such a stickler for measurements and that kind of thing, but you just want to have the look of it. So make sure you have it looking the way you want. So you can feel free to adjust. So now I have this. So I'm just going to, let's clean up the layers here. So this is the third one. This is the one I'm currently working on. So let me collapse the other two. And here I have my message, name, and the ellipses, and the rectangle. So I'm going to group all of these together. I'm going to press the Shift key and all the way to rectangle here. So it selects all four, and then right-click group selection. So this is turned into a group. Now I'm just going to copy this by, again, you guessed it, holding down the Option or Alt key and just dragging it right under here. And I'm going to make a couple different instances. So let's make 5 or 6, not more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's make 6. Okay, and just because I find it a lot easier, I think I'm going to like, okay, they're all numbered, so that's great. So could you get the door? Okay. So they're all numbered. So you have, so it has everything like here. All right. So this is also done. That was pretty fast, right? So we've got our 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screen pretty much done. I think I like the look of this better, like where there's more space up and down from the circle. This seems a bit more tight. So let's edit that. The great thing about lo-fi, doing the lo-fi thing is very easy to edit. So I've got my group 1, and this should have my ellipses in it. Where's my ellipses? Ah, it's here. Okay, there we go. So my ellipses, and I'm just going to edit it. So now the problem is I've gone back and I've edited this and I've made it 70 by 70. So that means the other ones also have to change. You can do it however you want. You can change each individual circle like I'm doing, or you can change it once and copy it down again, just to show you how easy it is to make quick changes. 70 by 70. And then just change one factor because it's already a circle. It'll do both. It should do both but for you. 70 by 70. And then changing this. 70 by 70. Yeah. Double click. And 70 by 70. And the last one. 70 by 70. Yeah. Oh, this one is wonky. Okay, let's make it 70. Why does this look so wonky? So crazy. Okay. Let's make it again. So, okay. All right, so we've got this 70 by 70, and we're going to make sure that this ellipse 6 is under group 3 here in this section. I'm going to make sure it's aligned with everything else. There we go. Okay. Okay, so this is how to do your your bare bones wireframing. And it's very much like we've learned the very simple, basic elements of how to go about wireframing. I wanted to turn all three of these also into more high def frames. Scotty, what is the situation with the time? Can we move forward to that as well, or?
Actually, we're going way over time. So maybe could you show us a brief overview of what it would look like?
Sure. Okay. Let's do just one quick little thing. I'll teach you one last thing before I go, which is how to round the corners and make it look a bit nicer. So let's change frame 2, okay? Quickly. So here we have the corner radius. You can just pull that in. You should be able to move to the right and change the corner radius just like this. And so I've turned this into a rounded thing. And you can go here, just the last few things. And you can go here to do edit object. Click these two nodes here and here. So shift and click two nodes. And then again, hold and drag so you can turn this way. And press escape to escape the editing mode. And then I'm just gonna change the transparency of this. So I'm gonna go here into fill, and I'm gonna make it transparent. There's a couple of last things I wanted to show you guys that'll help you make a nicer design. And that's it now. Since we've unfortunately run out of time, let me quickly go through what I wanted it to look like. And we can send you this file so you have an idea of what it looks like in hi-fi. So then I turned these very three frames into more of a better looking version. So I've added the top bar with some icons, which I was going to show you about how to import, how to just quickly copy and paste icons from other icon sets. So I have links to the icon sets in the packet, like in the instruction manual. So you can just click on those links and copy and paste the icons. They're already in a Figma workspace. So you can simply copy paste and put the icons here. And also information on how to change the color of the icons, because that's a little bit tricky, is given in the packet. I've just added placed an image here. So you can just go here to your files and you can place image and put the image of the logo on here. We'll give you access to that file as well. And all I've done is rounded the corners, this kind of thing. And I've placed more images into each of these circles here. And I've added logos and changed the color. And we've already seen how to round the edges. So these are a couple of things that I did. And I also just added the pictures here and center align this. So it looks a lot cleaner just by changing some of the colors, changing some of the borders and some of the measurements, and adding the icons really makes it pop. You can see with the colors and everything. And you can also add drop shadows and effects here under the effects tab. So I just wanted to show you all of these things. Unfortunately, we ran out of time and I was not able to, but we will send you this file for you to have a look at, or at least a picture of it, so you can start building it on your own. Is that good enough? Scotty, Jeffrey, anything to add?
Yep. So, right. So guys, we're going to share all this. So whenever you develop, you can always, it's really good to copy other people's work. So Maria's work you can use as a reference. So just copy and paste into yours and try to go from there. All right. So let's pass over to our host, Jeffrey. Take it away.
Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed our workshop. I hope we took you like baby steps into how to become a UI UX developer, how to fiddle with Figma, and I hope you guys go home and try to use more features that's on Figma. And if you want to know more about UI UX, please you can go onto our Instagram and go to Linktree, join our UI UX WhatsApp group. You can ask questions. We can discuss together about like what you want to learn more about UI UX. So please feel free to do that. Maria, can you so after this workshop, we prepared some like projects that you could do to earn badges on LinkedIn. Can you explain a bit more about what the project will be like? Maria?
You want me to explain what the project is going to look like? I mean, the idea for this was just to have some frames that you guys can work on. Like these are frames that regular UX UI designers will also have to do. So it's something like they'll do on the job as well. So I wanted to try to look at the 2 steps in the process, which was doing a very low fidelity wireframing, and then how to turn those low fidelity wireframes into high fidelity, more finished, polished frames. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, but if anyone really is interested and wants to go through with it step by step with me, feel free to contact me. No worries, I'll find time to do it, because I find that Figma is really fun and intuitive to use. I hope you guys got a little bit of a taste of it, even though it was quite basic. And the idea is that using these skills, you can even start wireframing a full application. There's a lot more though to Figma. I have just shown you a couple of quick like tips for sizing and that kind of thing and measurements, but there's a lot more that you can do even functionality wise. Like one of the things I wanted to share today was how to create buttons that will lead you to the next frame or next app when you prototype it. Maybe when we have another workshop, hopefully in a couple months or so, later in the semester, we can show you how to do more high fidelity frames. I'm looking forward to that.
Right. So we actually have a LinkedIn badge. Maria, could you talk about that?
Oh yes, the LinkedIn badge. So basically, once you have finished your, we want you guys to think of this as a take-home assignment in a way. If you want your LinkedIn badge that you'll be able to display on your LinkedIn page and would be great for your CV, then what you need to do is you need to send us these 6 frames. So 3 low fidelity and 3 high fidelity frames, similar to what I have given. So make sure it has all the features of what I have put in. You can feel free to add extra things, be more creative, but stick to the branding brief and the setup that we have. And if you submit it to us, your Figma files to us before Saturday night, then you are eligible to receive a LinkedIn badge for your LinkedIn profile, which looks great on your CV, like an extra skill. That's pretty cool, I think. And LinkedIn is the first place that recruiters will look at. So I think this is a great thing to do, and you have a couple of days to achieve it too.
Right, very true, guys. So moving forward, we'll have a lot of LinkedIn badges. So if you collect all of them, you can rule the world. So start collecting now, guys. Yes, sorry, back to you, Jeffrey.
Oh, Scotty, did you want to talk about the future workshops that we'll have?
Yes. So Maria, could you help me share a screen?
Sure. What do you want to share exactly?
The last slide.
Sure.
Yes. All right, so guys, I'm just gonna go through what's happening in the future. I know right now it's really uncertain and a lot of stuff is happening that is making us really worried, but don't worry, guys, we will stick it together. So, right, so could you refresh real quick? While I'm doing my little speech, can you guys turn on your camera so we can take our final picture together, you know, with your beautiful faces. Woohoo. Okay, Maria.
Yeah, give me a second. The Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. I'm just refreshing it. Please bear with us, guys. Give me a second. It's not refreshing very fast.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Hong-san, I love your makeup. Very, very nice.
Okay.
Yay, Cindy, Wokhan, Waihang, you guys look great. Ooh, Russell's in space. How's it there? No COVID, right?
No.
Time to move to space, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so guys, I'm not sure if you guys are in the WhatsApp or in our Discord, but we haven't revealed our future, actually did, but not our poster yet. So this is what's happening in February. We have 2 workshops this week, our UI, UX, and then this Friday we have a blockchain workshop. not by us, but the Hong Kong Blockchain Society. So they're actually like quite professional. So I would really recommend to join this. Then we have a quantum computing workshop, which will be run by our vice lead, my vice president, Rakshit, and he's been working really hard on that. So make sure to make some time for that if you are available. And then we have another blockchain workshop, but this one is for Julia language. If you guys, I'm not sure if you guys know about Julia language, but it's quite new. It was founded in 2010, I think, and it's like gaining a lot of traction. So definitely check that one out. Then we have an AI workshop, and this one has to do with art, and I'm really looking forward to this one. And yeah, so that's what we have tentatively, but due to things happening regarding, halls and campus, COVID, everyone might be really busy. So we might have to delay later because we want as many people to be able to join these. So if you have any thoughts, please DM any of the admins of the general group. Just give us your thoughts, and then maybe we can delay it. Maybe we can just keep going. All right. Other than that, we have a lot of hackathons going on in our society. So Google, the company that is heading us, actually has an annual hackathon called the Solution Challenge. And this is quite prestigious. There's a lot of prizes, and I would really recommend that you guys look into it. So with any of the workshops that we're doing throughout the year, I think you can get one of those workshops, build the project and submit and see what happens. So there's that. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much it looking forward. We have a lot more planned for March and April. There's a secret thing happening called, don't know if I can reveal it. Actually, can I reveal it? All good? All right, okay. Okay. Guys, we've been busting our butts for this one. Like literally going all the way to upper management, talking to the president, going every level. And it's called the Poly Hacks. It's our very own PoyU hackathon. And we are actually opening to all of Asia. And we want to make it the biggest hackathon in Asia. So if you're interested, please keep posted and join our link tree. Yes. Okay, so I think that's it. Yay, exciting, interested. Yes, Eugene, keep that energy. Okay, guys, so let's take a quick picture and we can hang after. So Rakshit, could you also help me with this?
Yeah, okay. I'll take a picture for me, no worries.
Okay.
Okay, how many people are there? Give me a minute. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile.
Smile.
Okay, done.
Okay, yay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks for joining. We want to keep it as casual and, as lighthearted as possible. So guys, we can do this. We can survive. Don't worry.
So nice to see everyone. I hope you guys got something from it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do as much as I had planned to do and do the high fidelity ones as well. But I hope you did learn something new today and you were able to like really quickly make some mock-ups on Figma. So I hope you enjoyed.
Yes. Oh, Maria, Matthew has a really good question.
Any good UI prototype software for a Bootstrap CSS UI from the UX UI expert? My manager wants me to draft design prototypes for internet web front end from my comp squad used Figma before for a competing project. I'm not so sure if it's great for prototyping web pages. Figma is good for, it's okay for prototyping web pages. But I suggest you look into the other options that I suggested earlier in the presentation. So I know that InVision InVision is one that's like very widely used, and so is Balsamic. Do we get the presentation? Yeah, so the 5 ones that I had talked about in the presentation, those are the most widely used ones. So you can look into that. So the 5 ones, let me just quickly tell you. So that's Adobe Experience Design is really good. Sketch is good, a little bit more basic. Balsamic and InVision Studio are highly used in the industry. So I'd look into all of these and maybe ask your boss what he thinks. Now that Google has a course about UX on Coursera, may I ask if there's any courses online for UI? Yes, there are a lot of different courses for UX and UI. So in fact, in the packet, in the instruction manual, in the end, we've added some resources where you can get free templates and free icons. And under that, there's also a couple of YouTube tutorials. So there's, you can pretty much learn anything from YouTube. I'd say, like, even if you don't want to spend any money on like a Coursera or a Udemy like course, you can also do like look at some, there's some really good YouTube tutorials out there, like professional quality. Since I have not received a formal email for this workshop, but I've already registered a few days ago, I'd like to know if you can send it to me again for me to submit the work. Sure, we can. Can we just have your, you can personal message any one of the heads here, part of the event, your email. Can Figma turn a wireframe into a code one? I don't think so. There is some basic stuff that you can do with like functionality and button pressing, as far as I know. But the coding bit is not. Figma is mostly visual. And there are some extensions Rakshit is saying, which allow convert to React. Thanks, Rakshit. Because I don't know too much about the backend stuff, so you can definitely ask our comp students like Scotty and Rakshit about it.
Okay, that should be it then, guys. Oh wait, are there more questions?
Let me transcribe this in my dramatic voice. My squad used Figma before our mobile computing project. And let me tell you, it's a pain in the butt. I agree. To convert our designs into Android Studio. It was the most beautiful project I've ever done, but it costed me many nights of sleep and my kidney.
Absolutely. I mean, Figma is made for, it's made for mainly a prototyping, but it is hard to convert from a prototype to a final app.
Yes, we send our solidarity to RP your kidney. You've been losing a lot of kidneys. How many kidneys do you have? One for your Razer, your laptop. Jesus. Designer's dream is a developer center. What if you're both, Solal? Like you have a bipolar. No, let's not.
I think he's speaking, but he's on mute. So anyway.
Oh.
Okay, are there is it okay to change the person's layout a bit before submission?
So as I talked about it before, I want you guys to stick to the general brand brief. So like the brand colors that I've picked out, and use the fonts. I was not able to show you guys the other font, the Railway font. So there's Railway and Roboto use those fonts. But you can feel free to add onto it, or if you want to even add more screens and show what it could look like, be my guest. But the things that we have covered today and the things in the Figma sheet that I have made, I want those to be there. And on top of that, if you want to add something, sure, go ahead. You can be as creative as you want. But I want the things that I have already made to be present. So I know you can do at least that much. Maintain the brand, but be creative. Yep.
Bazinga. Yes. All right, so I guess that's it for tonight. Let's all take rest. Thanks so much for coming. Any last words from any of our core members? All good. All right, love you guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night. Remember, submit before Saturday night, and you can get a LinkedIn badge. Don't forget.
Okay, bye everyone. Anthony, could you end the meeting? We can start leaving now. Okay, bye-bye.